So going into watching the Studio Ghibli movie Grave of the Fireflies, I knew that it was going to be really sad, but what I didn't expect was to come out having watched the most beautiful and well-made movie I had ever seen in my entire life. So when it comes down to it, Grave of the Fireflies is just a story about the true devastation of war. It affects everyone, not just the soldiers out there fighting, but the everyday person at home just trying to survive and make it through. And this movie is absolutely brutally real at telling that story. And yes, this is the saddest animated movie ever made. You follow Seita and his little sister through their entire journey trying to survive during the waning months of the war. And it's heartbreaking watching them have to struggle to survive. And it all comes to a peak at the most heartbreaking ending montage of any movie I've ever seen in my entire life. You really can't describe what happens here, you have to just watch it to get the full impact of this moment. The animation in this movie might be some of the best animation I've ever seen from Ghibli. This was one of their first movies, so it's very simple, but the animation in this movie is just made with such love and detail put into it, and you can really tell. The nighttime shots are absolutely stunning. The way that it's lit with the fireflies being the only source of light because it's at night is just an absolutely beautiful story point. And this movie has some of the best visual storytelling out of any animated movie I've ever seen. And they're not scared to show some sad imagery too. A lot of the backgrounds will just be still drawings, they won't be moving at all. So it really makes you focus on the people in the foreground and just really draws all the attention to them. One thing that really surprised me about this movie is how incredible the music was. I never really heard anything about the Grave of the Fireflies score, so I kind of figured it was nothing special. But right out of the gate in the opening scene, it starts out with this absolutely mesmerizing score and just really gets you into it immediately. It's very ethereal sounding and it kind of makes you feel like you're in a dream. But more than the music itself, the lack of music amplifies the movie more than you would even think. More than half of the movie, there's no music at all, it's really just silence. And this really makes you feel like you're in the world and makes you feel every emotion even harder. For example, every time you hear the air raid siren, it's genuinely scary because it feels like you're there and you can feel the agony that these characters are going through. One of my favorite things they do is with most movies in an intense moment, the music will amplify it. There will be more intense music in the background to kind of suit the situation. But with Grave of the Fireflies, most of the time when there's an intense moment, there is no music. So then that all you can hear and think about is just the character's struggles. So I've kept this video spoiler free, but there's just one moment I have to talk about. So if you don't want any spoilers, skip to this timestamp to get past them. Oh my goodness, Home Sweet Home is the most incredible and most heartbreaking sequence in any movie I've ever seen. This is the scene that sets this movie apart from anything else. This one scene is such a masterclass in visual storytelling, it's incredible. So during this montage, you get to see what Suzuko is doing while Seito is out there getting supplies for them. And this is such a devastatingly real montage, it's incredible. Just seeing this little kid all on her own is so devastating. And the music so tragically represents the fact that Home Sweet Home, they will never be able to go home again. It all ends with maybe the most heartbreaking line I've ever heard. I never went back to the shelter. This is just such a beautiful moment, and when you look at it from a story perspective, if you take out this scene, the story doesn't change. But these are the scenes that make Studio Ghibli movies so memorable. These are the scenes that really, truly make a Ghibli. So Grave of the Fireflies is the most soul-crushing and beautiful movie I've ever seen. It's a movie viewing experience I don't think I'll ever truly forget. I think it's the saddest animated movie ever, and it's definitely the best animated movie I have ever seen. If you somehow haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's definitely worth it. And to Studio Ghibli, please keep making movies like this. They're so good, it's insane.